Is it difficult for you to go and speak about what happened to you?
Yeah.
Everywhere you go.
I get that question a lot, and it's really not, because it happened so long ago, and I've healed so much from it. And a lot of times when I do talk about it, it feels as if I'm talking about somebody else, because I've really overcome it. And one of my favorite quotes is Benjamin Franklin, and he said, "Those things that hurt instruct." So, you know, I hope that everybody can take their situations like I did and, you know, take your place of pain and make it your place of reign. You know, just make something of it, make the best of it, change lives in the process. And so that's what I'm doing, and I'm here because I care. You know, I mean, it is hard. It is hard.
Right.
But I want to save as many victims as possible. You
also have a documentary.
I do, yes, I do.
Tell us about that.
The documentary was filmed about 5 years ago when I came out. I think I was about 17 when I did it, and it was really just for awareness. And a lot of the advocacy centers in schools use the documentary to help train high school students and parents, because it's not really age appropriate. You couldn't show it to, like, you know, elementary school, kindergartners, you know. But it's very powerful tool. It's very relatable. It's me, it's my family, and we basically just take you through the whole process, and it's a very emotional video. I've gotten a lot of good feedback on it.
Yeah, and it must be just so cathartic to have it all out there for you.
It really is. It's liberating. It's very, very liberating.
Jenna's Law goes into schools, K through 12, in Texas right now. Is there a difference with how different teachers are instructing their kids? Obviously, there's a huge age gap.
There's a big age gap. And what it says is that there's strategies and methods, which is what they're coming up with right now. There's a 9-person task force that the governor of Texas, Governor Perry, has established. And basically, this task force has to come up with a curriculum, an effective curriculum. Because it's one thing to have the law, right? That's great.
Right.
We're on the right track. But if it's not carried out effectively, and if it's not reaching the students, then it's void. You know, so there's got to be an effective ways to carry it out.
Definitely.
And kindergartners usually learn well through entertainment. So we have, you know, there's puppet shows. You know, this is, you know, my boundaries. You know, so they learn really well through that. And then high schoolers is usually, you know, documentary or you know, any kind of instructive tool. And a lot of times it's up to the school district, I think.
And it's also educating the parents.
It is. Parents really need to be aware. They need to be aware that their kids are learning this material, because a lot of times, unfortunately, it's happening in the home as well. And so if everybody can just speak openly and have a little bit more awareness about this issue, maybe it will also prevent perpetrators. And hopefully through this law, you know, we will see at least, you know, maybe a decrease in the outcries and the perpetrating that goes on.
Yeah. If somebody's sitting at home and they either know somebody who's being sexually abused or they are being sexually abused, what is the one message you want to give to them?
I really, really, with all of my heart, would implore you to please say something and tell somebody, but tell somebody who's going to do something about it. Please tell somebody and take action. You know, most of the time victims don't get justice. Only less than 10% of perpetrators actually get convicted. So, and have jail time. So, I mean, whether it's taking the whole legal route or not, at least please say something and free yourself. Free yourself, because it's liberating for you. It's a gift for you. It's not for the other person.
And you don't have to live in this horrible situation.
No, you do not have to suffer in silence. Get out, please. Say something, because you have nothing to be ashamed of. You have nothing to be embarrassed about. And the fear and the isolation that you feel is normal. It's a normal feeling, and you're not the only one that's going through it. It's 1 in 3 girls and 1 in 6 boys. This bill is just a minute expression of my love for victims all across Texas and everywhere. And I hope that this bill will shape the standard of care and our child welfare for America.
And you hope that it comes here to Massachusetts as well.
Absolutely, absolutely, in Massachusetts, yeah.
Jenna, what is your message to perpetrators out there?
Hopefully my message is that perpetration will decrease, and if they know that children are going to be empowered, hopefully through this law in Massachusetts, children need to know that they have a voice and that they will be heard. And this law gives them a loud voice to stand up for themselves and have power, personal power and choice. And hopefully, you know, there will be a decrease in the perpetrators because they realize that these kids are out there and they're not going to tolerate and they're not going to suffer in silence from the abuse. Perpetrators have from 1 to 9 victims. Wow. 70% of them have 1 to 9 victims. And that's a very, very scary statistic, but it's a harsh reality. So yes, this law gives children a voice and lets them know that they can be heard.
Jenna, you have a very strong support system in your family, and when we come back, we're going to have your mother here to talk about how all of this impacted the family, and she's really a strong support for you as you make this journey. So when we come back, we'll have Kelly Quinn with us to talk about her daughter and this whole experience and how it's really important to get this message out and important for kids and other adults out there to know the signs and symptoms so that we can put an end to sexual abuse with children. We'll be right back.
As Jenna mentioned, 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 6 boys are sexually abused before the age of 18. In addition, an estimated 39 million survivors of childhood sexual abuse exist in America today, which means that if you're in a similar situation, you're not alone, and there are always places you can turn to for help.
We know this exists. We don't like to think that it does, but we know it does. And the big question is, what do you do if you're a victim? Or what do you do if a friend of yours is a victim, if you don't want to go to a parent? Well, there are a lot of options in this community. The police department deals with this all the time. Needham Youth Services, my office, deals with it all the time. There's some great information online. Some people have actually called this office anonymously and say, can I just talk to you without giving my name? And that's a really good place to start. A lot of people think this is not my life, but I have to tell you, most people know of a family member, a coworker, or just a friend who has been victimized. And if you can put yourself in their position, think about how isolating, lonely, and terrifying it is. That often can propel people to take some action in a positive way.
Please say something and free yourself. Free yourself because it's liberating for you. It's a gift for you. It's not for the other person. And you have nothing to be embarrassed about. And the fear and the isolation that you feel is normal. It's a normal feeling, and you're not the only one that's going through it.